Hi! So for Halloween, instead of pumpkin carving, we could make something really cute cupcakes like this for Halloween. So let's get started. We're going to create DIY pumpkin stencil like this. And we're going to need the base, buttercream bases, a pretty flat one. I'm going to show you a very easy way to do this. So what you need is a parchment paper, and you want to fill buttercream inside the piping bag. I usually like to use a glass to do this. It's so much easier and neater. So the buttercream is not going to go everywhere whenever I'm trying to fill my piping bag. So just fill your buttercream and inside the piping bag, and once you're done, snip off the tip of the piping bag about maybe ½ inch of the opening, about ½ inch, a little bit more. And we're going to squeeze this buttercream on top of the cupcake first. So let's do that. Just like squeeze a whole chunk, like put pressure, and then like you can squish it around if you want to, and then just put it upside down onto the parchment paper. So do the second one, and then squish it onto the parchment paper until it's, pretty flat, like you think on the bottom there. So we're gonna do the third one. Just pretty much put a good amount of buttercream, however that you can. And again, you want to flip it and then put it on the parchment paper. And then this one, I kind of squish it too much, and then it's like becoming too much an overflow on the edge, and I didn't quite like it. So I just kind of make it neat by using a palette knife all around just to make it neater. And you want to put it in the fridge or freezer afterwards so that it's really hardened before you're trying to remove from the parchment paper. And while the buttercream is in the fridge to harden, let's create our stencil. Use a freezer paper. I like it to be thicker compared to parchment paper, but if you don't have one, use a parchment paper. And when you use a freezer paper, draw on the non-shiny side so that you will have the shiny side in contact with your paper, in contact with your template. Okay, so draw on the non-shiny side and just follow the stencil. And I draw it on the window so that I have a bright light, so it helps me to trace the template. And remember to also to draw the circle as well for around the size of the cupcake. And then use sharp knife, not really like a cutter kind of thing. I like to use this one that I got from Amazon. It's really easy to control the cutting because it just fits on the finger. And I cut the stencil using that, and sometimes I also use scissors to help me, but mostly using this sharp cutter. And so yeah, this cutting it by hand can require some patience. The file also, if you download the SVG file, you can also cut it with the machine cutter, which I can show you how to do it next time. But this time it's just gonna, for an easy, quick and dirty one, just use a cutter or scissors to hand cut it. And doesn't have to be perfect, remember, just so then I cut another one. Of course I didn't cut it this fast, but just like be patient with it. Now the buttercream is already hardened and you can easily remove it from parchment paper. Do you see like how flat and nice it is already? Because the buttercream is already hardened, so it's so easy to remove it from parchment paper. And you see there is like imperfection, there is holes on top, so it's easy to fix. Just add a soft buttercream on the top, and the underneath buttercream is hardened, like it's cold, right? So it's okay, like it's very easy to you're not afraid to smoosh out the buttercream that's already hardened, that's already flat underneath. So it's just adding that soft buttercream on the top is just gonna cover that imperfection, whole imperfection, and then ta-da! Like you have a pretty smooth, flat buttercream on top of your cupcake. Isn't it amazing? So now that you already have that, now we're ready to stencil because your buttercream is already still hard, still cold and hard. So it's perfect, perfect for stenciling. And now you put your stencil on the top, you prepare your orange buttercream, and make sure that your stencil is attached on your buttercream quite nicely without any gap, so that when you put your buttercream, it's not gonna leach in underneath the parchment paper. And when you peel it off, like you see, we did our first one already for our pumpkin, and when we're trying to peel it off, look at that, like how nice it is. It's so satisfying to peel the stencil. So we're going to do the second one. Similar to the first one, make sure the stencil is attached nicely and then smear the buttercream on top. And just a thin layer is good enough. And that's the nice thing about stenciling, is that you don't need quite much of the buttercream. And when you're trying to peel it off, it's just so satisfying that when we're trying to peel it off, it's just so nice. It's like a reveal, like ta-da kind of thing. So, and for the third design, I decided to cover it with solid pumpkin color and then put it in the fridge again until it's already hardened. You see that when I touch it, it doesn't smear off. And then we can add the eyes and the mouth. So we can use white again. I don't want to color another black, so I just use white and stencil the eyes and the mouth of the pumpkin. So it's like kind of like when you carve it, but here like we're stenciling white buttercream on top. And I'm just smearing it off, and that's it. And then now you can peel it off to reveal the eyes and mouth. So this is called layered stenciling. So one, we layer the orange pumpkin, right? And then we're gonna do another layer of stencil of white on top. So we're doing a double stenciling here. In between, remember to, between your orange, after the orange one, you want to put it in the fridge. Here you can see like it's not perfect, so I am trying to fix the orange one, just like adding a little bit, but mostly it's pretty good. Like you can see that the eyes and the mouth like get revealed pretty nicely by the stencil. So there you go, that you have like all the 3 designs, and I hope you enjoy this. I think this is a very calming and nice, easy activity for Halloween. So it can be in addition or instead of pumpkin carving. You don't want all the, what to do with the pumpkin meat and the seeds, or, this is just a fun way, alternative way. So have fun. Happy Halloween.